God, dude, I couldn't be more excited to finally be able to talk about this. It's Enotria, The Last Song. I've been pumped ever since Summer Game Fest, coming off of that preview experience to dive into the full game. And yo, buddy, I cannot put it down. I am approximately 7 hours into the game. I have not completed it, but if I'm going to score it up with what I have been able to play, dude, I'm a 9.5 right now. It is that high for me. I am completely hooked. There's a lot going on, but there's a small couple little things that have taken me out of the experience that I will get into. Scott, where are you at?
I've had a bit of a different experience than you have myself. I'm about the 3 to 4 hour mark. About an hour of that was spent knocking my head against a boss wall. But if I'm going to recommend or not recommend this game, I absolutely have to recommend, because this is an absolutely gorgeous Italian flavored Souls-like game, and it clearly bit you.
Absolutely. You talk about Souls-like, dude, and I tend to run away. Like, I'm not a Souls guy at all. So the fact that I am hooked so far into this, the first boss was absolutely one of the most challenging ones. And then as I've been able to progress further along, dude, I feel like such a badass when I'm playing now, because I obliterate people until I hit the wall I've hit today, which is now that next stage of, oh man, I've got to figure this out. Every boss encounter has always been a little bit different. How do I experience this boss? The mask plays such a significant role in how you do your build. There's a lot to uncover. I always complained about Elden Ring really not telling a story. I know that's on me, dude, and Enotria kind of plays off of that, and I've picked up on it. And this is the part where I'm starting to go, dude, I'm starting to get this now, right? There's a lot of me going, I love the feeling of this. It's the accomplishment of, yo, I beat him. I got this now. Let's get going. And then I discover little tidbits of information. There's little drops of notes and letters kind of things throughout the world. Then you run into this one guy who keeps popping up at these certain points that kind of tell you and kind of push you along. Dude, I'm into a merchant now. It's like I'm selling things off, and now I'm buying other items, and I'm just keep crafting and grinding, crafting and grinding and grinding and grinding. It has got its hooks so far into me. Dude, I did not expect it, even though I was excited to play it.
Oh, you've been completely swept off your feet by this game, and I have to say there's a few things that really make me happy for you, because this will open your eyes to the rest of the Souls-like kind of subgenre. And I say that because you mentioned that first boss fight, and I recognize in that boss fight, okay, this is the parry boss. Structured similar to Souls-like games where, okay, this is going to test me on this one function, this one ability, and then you move on from there. You're constantly learning, constantly growing. But this game has just such a high ceiling. And because I haven't seen the end game, it's hard for me to kind of judge how that compares exactly to some of the end game in Elden Ring and some of the Dark Souls games. But when you master parry, to your point, you're also mastering different weapons, different abilities. You have different masks that you're interested in to kind of tweak your skills. You get into some of the bonfire. I'll call them a Firelink Shrine for lack of a better term, but you have the same checkpointing system as what happens in Dark Souls.
That's a fate link, right? That you're untwisting this fiber more or less. Dude, it's incredible.
You're learning and you're growing your entire skill tree. The skill tree really took me aback for a second, because I really deeply looked into that. How do I want to build out my character? Because it gets a little confusing at the beginning. You have the ability to swap between two kind of classes, and that didn't quite make sense to me. It looked a little bit foreign at the time, but as you come through the game, you start to understand how a lot more of this works. And especially with talking with you, you're incredibly more gifted and strengthened than I am in this game.
I've just been able to progress further along. The minute you hit the boss is when things really kind of change, right? Once you beat the boss, you're given a lot more currency, so you're able to go in and spend all that, upgrade. So there's like, dude, I literally have the game on the side of me because there's that much to unpack, right? So it's on my laptop. I've been able to check it out. The masks, such a huge component of the game, really changes your playstyle. There's different playstyles too, right? So you can get into the bruiser, the assassin, the elementalist, the trickster, and the battle mage. And all these have different effects, different statuses, and a whole bunch of other effects. On top of that, you have your gear, you have your abilities, then you have items, and then there's the skill tree you pull in that you can kind of mask out and mix match a bunch of other things. Dude, there's so much depth in the game. I think that was the overwhelming part for me to really start to understand. I'm still learning a lot of the items. What items do I want to take with me? What do they build? What effects do they bring for me, right? So Viz is a huge thing you start off with that is kind of makes you dizzy and foggy, right? A little bit. And how do you clear that? And you get past that. And then it's on to the next thing. It's just that keeps pushing me forward. And the folklore, the Italian detail, folklore world itself is absolutely incredible. Here's some of the things I've been experiencing that I haven't really liked. A couple graphical glitches. Okay, there is some of that. And yes, I know a lot of these games don't hold your hand to guide you, and I can appreciate that. But at the same time, dude, I feel lost at moments. I'm like, okay, now that I'm done this, where do I go? Like, I've got no inclination of where it's supposed to carry me forward. So I finished off, I think it was the second boss, and I'm done. And the first boss, like, you beat him, then you go out this door, and away you go. I'm like, oh, cool, I know where I'm going,
More
right?
of an obvious path, yeah.
Exactly. This time, dude, I beat the second boss, and I was like, now what? Like, there's no direction. And I'm wandering around, dude, to the point where I, like, now have leveled everybody in that world, because you go back to the Fate, right? You get in your loadout, you set your stuff, you more repopulate the map. I obliterate them all, and now I'm wandering around going, where am I supposed to go? Well, I eventually figure it out, and then there's a door I completely missed. Found the door, out I go. I'm back out now into the more Italian castle area than it was. Dude, like, this is this dark kind of overgrown tree going twisting through stuff, and it was very cool. But then I get out back into the bright, that's something too we don't really see a lot of, is how bright the world is when it comes to a lot of these Souls-like games. So that was something that really kind of pulled me in for the appeal. It's just the art style and the direction, the masks, dude, the enemies. Like, I can't gush enough about it, but I definitely had a couple little miscomes along the way going, maybe some more friendly ideas to push me forward in the direction for somebody like myself who's not a Souls guy. How do I get into this game? But I'm slowly, dude, like most people in this world of Souls, start to figure it out, and it's really starting to click. And dude, I put it down and I continue to think about the game.